Welcome back to another Explainer. So if you're joining us today, I'm guessing you've probably run into that specific type of coworker. You know the one I'm talking about, right? The person who seems to spend way more time giving your manager a complete play-by-play of every little detail than actually, well, doing their job. It's frustrating, it's totally exhausting, and let's be real, it can feel super unfair. Okay, let's dive right into this because today we're breaking down exactly how to navigate workplace reporting and, more importantly, how to protect your own professional credibility.
So here's the very first question we really have to ask ourselves. Is your coworker actually playing office politics? Or are they maybe just a little insecure? It's so incredibly easy to just assume someone is actively scheming against you. But honestly, from observation alone, you just can't know their true motivation. What actually matters here, what we really need to focus on, is their intent, the pattern of their behavior, and the actual impact it's having on the team.
Let's get right into Section 1. Is it really office politics?
See, there are actually 5 main possibilities for why someone is constantly reporting to the boss, and they definitely aren't all malicious. Number 1, they might just be an information broker, telling the manager everything, even the tiny stuff, just to be the main source of info and boost their visibility. 2, impression management. They might honestly think giving constant updates shows loyalty and initiative. 3 is gatekeeping, and this one is political. That's when they selectively share information to help themselves or disadvantage others. But look at number 4. Seeking validation. A newer employee might literally just be terrified of making a mistake. And finally, 5, manager-dependent communication. Some folks just naturally escalate every little thing to their boss instead of hashing it out directly with teammates.
Now this brings us to a really clear divide, and this illustrates it perfectly. On the one side, we have benign reporting. Look, if someone is just meeting a manager's expectations for updates, or maybe they're seeking security because they're brand new, well, it's annoying, sure, but it isn't toxic. But on the flip side, when someone actively starts gatekeeping or selectively framing information to make you look bad, or bypassing the team entirely to gain some unfair advantage, yeah, that is exactly when it crosses the line into toxic office politics.
Moving right along to Section 2, the toll on team trust.
Here's the thing about this kind of behavior. If the manager consistently supports the reporting employee, the team's perception quickly becomes the new reality. Suddenly, the rest of the team starts perceiving that this one person has the manager's exclusive trust. It starts to feel like just speaking to the manager is way more effective than actually collaborating with the team. People start assuming favoritism exists, even if the manager is trying to be totally fair. And that perception alone, it absolutely destroys team morale and makes peer-to-peer collaboration feel, frankly, completely pointless. So, the absolutely crucial point here boils down to this one question. Do they merely report facts, or do they actively try to influence the manager's opinion about people and situations? If they're just saying, hey, the project is at phase 2, well, that's reporting facts. But if they say, the project is at phase 2 because Sarah dropped the ball on her deliverables, they're actively influencing opinions. That right there is the ultimate acid test for identifying toxic politics.
All right, Section 3, don't fight fire with fire.
I know exactly how it feels. When someone is constantly whispering in the boss's ear, the most natural human temptation is to sprint to the boss's office and start whispering right back. Honestly, don't do it. Trying to beat them at their own game is a huge trap. It's a short-term emotional reaction. And reacting emotionally like that almost always damages your credibility far more than it damages theirs. You just end up looking petty, and it can seriously ruin your long-term reputation.
Let's shift gears to the solution in Section 4, the Professional Credibility Playbook.
I absolutely love this maxim, make your work visible, not yourself. Look, you really can't assume that good work just speaks for itself, because it rarely does. But you also don't need to brag. Instead, the move here is to share concise updates on exactly what you completed, the real business impact it had, any risks or blockers, and your next steps. Doing this keeps your manager fully informed about your value, and you never have to throw a single person under the bus to do it.
And when an issue inevitably pops up, you want to be known as the ultimate problem solver. Don't just point out fires, bring the fire extinguisher, right? Try using this exact 4-part script. First, say, I noticed this issue. Second, here's why it happened. Third, here are 2 possible solutions. And fourth, I recommend this approach. I promise you, managers will always remember the people who bring them actionable solutions instead of just handing them a list of headaches.
At the exact same time, you need to build direct trust across your team. How do you do that? Keep it factual. Help your colleagues out, freely share your knowledge, and just stay away from gossip and speculation entirely. If you have to discuss an issue, keep the conversation anchored purely to facts, evidence, and the business impact. Because when a ton of people trust you for being a steady, reliable collaborator, your reputation becomes virtually impossible for anyone else to undermine.
Next step in the playbook, document your important work. Keep a running record of your projects, achievements, positive feedback you get, key metrics you hit, and any extra responsibilities you've taken on. Maintaining these specific records isn't just a feel-good exercise, this is your vital, objective defense during performance reviews and promotion discussions. It leaves literally zero room for anyone else to falsely define what you do.
Building direct credibility also means figuring out what your specific manager actually values. Take a look at the values right here. Do they value speed, accuracy, ownership? Once you figure out what they care about the absolute most, match it up with how you deliver on it. Like, if they're obsessed with accuracy, make sure you double-check all your facts and data before presenting them. Deliver consistently on their specific priorities, and you'll quickly become indispensable.
Okay, moving to Section 5, defending your hard-earned reputation.
All right, so what happens when someone does share incomplete or misleading info about your work? You execute these 4 defensive steps. 1. Stay entirely calm. 2. Clarify the facts using all that evidence you've been carefully documenting. 3. Avoid personal attacks at all costs. And 4. Just let your professionalism speak for itself. By relying completely on evidence over emotion, you totally neutralize a political attack. The other person looks manipulative, and you just look like the composed professional.
Let's wrap things up with Section 6, 3 layers of reputation. I want you to think of your workplace reputation as a pyramid with 3 layers. Layer 1 is the base. Visibility gets you noticed. Building a durable reputation really starts right here. You've got to ensure that your actual work, not your informal chatter by the coffee machine, but your tangible output and solutions are actually seen by leadership.
Let's move to the next level and see how this builds. Layer 2, credibility. Gets you trusted. It's not enough to just be seen. That visibility has to be backed up by factual problem solving, clear communication, and a strict refusal to engage in gossip. That is how you earn genuine, unshakable trust from both your teammates and your manager.
And finally, layer 3 right at the very top. Consistency gets you promoted. Now, let's be realistic for a second. There are always exceptions, and some highly dysfunctional workplaces do unfortunately reward political behavior more than others. But overall, in the long run, political influence built on whispering fades super quickly. A reputation built on reliability, integrity, and actual business results, that grows and compounds over time. It is generally the most durable strategy you can possibly employ.
So, as we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to really think about. What foundation is your workplace reputation built on today? Are you getting distracted by the short-term noise and stress of office politics? Or are you firmly focused on the durable, long-term growth of your professional credibility? Keep your focus on the work, protect your peace, and we'll catch you in the